explain to people, because I mean, I think like people think like you're hitting autopilot and getting up
No.
and going to the bathroom or something
No,
like
I mean,
that.
even on a half-mile field when you're going, 6 miles an hour, it'll take 10, I don't know exactly how long it takes to get across the field. But you're in charge when you come to the end of the field.
This is part 2 of kind of a little bit of a documentary, if you will. A little bit about our history, how Choice Farm Market came to be. And so for this episode, we're going to just kind of continue on and maybe talk a little bit about how this venture has changed us, how we feel about it, and where we go from here. So I think we ended up with, our awesome staff.
Yeah.
And so what would you say for you, how has Choice Farm Market impacted you as a person? How have you grown, if you will?
Well, I mean, honestly, I never thought that, what we did here was all that interesting. I didn't really think that people would, be intrigued by what we do, why we do it, how we do it. But one of the things that I enjoy the most doing is greeting people at the market, and there are still so many people that 9 months into it, I ask them, "Is this your first time in the store?" "Yes, yeah, first time in," and just giving them a little bit of backstory on why we do what we do and how we do it, and they are always just extremely appreciative. And I mean, I didn't think that I really liked to talk to non-farming people, the non-farming community, but I do.
Yeah.
I really do, because they really soak it up. They really enjoy insight.
Yeah. Well, and I think our customers are curious about, curious about us. And I know that we've talked to people, and then they'll come back in and they'll say, "Oh, we drove by your farm, and you've got a nice place there and stuff." So I think people do want to know our story. Yeah. And
we've made a lot of friends already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, people that I consider to be friends now, that just through the market, just because they've come through the market. And
I think for me, I'm going to talk about like daily challenges or whatever for a minute, because I know for me, a lot of people think that farming is a simple way of life. They want to sell their home in the city and go out to the country and buy 10 acres and have some chickens and a garden and just relax. And I blame Hallmark for that. I think people have this Hallmark view of farm life, and it's it's not quite that simple. We balance a lot of things. We balance the farm that includes the animals, that includes cash cropping, that includes planting and harvesting about 2,200 acres like we do right now. We still have the TLC corn business, so that keeps you busy in the winter, and now the farm market. And so but I feel like this first almost year now, we've kind of had to learn to find a balance.
the first 6 months that the store was open, you were working way too much for any human. I mean, 70 to 80 hours a week is not sustainable.
Right.
And I'm glad that you've realized that, and you've got people in place now that are going to do things the right way when you're not there.
Right.
And
well, and I think we are a lot alike in the way that you have a hard time delegating things.
I'm terrible at it. I'll be the first one to tell
and
you.
I am too. And it's not that I don't think that that people can't do as good of a job as I do. Sometimes I just feel like it's going to take me longer to teach somebody to do what I do than if I just go do it.
The thing.
And we're kind of getting over that. We are learning that.
You are.
We'll work on you too, because
Yeah.
at some point we do have to take vacations, and right now, literally, like I've said before, it's eat, sleep, breathe. Not just the market, but everything that we do here. But I feel like we are setting this all up, and the next generation, and not just the grandkids, the great nieces and nephews. There will be room for them to be a part of the family farm that they're also very proud of. And there'll be so many different areas where they can find their niche and they can grow. And we're not done growing over there yet. So we've got a lot of things planned for the future. I think Choice Farm Market is going to become a destination. That's been our vision. And, I think we're going to make it.
Yeah.
So how has farming changed over the years? I mean, technology and stuff like that. I mean, go back to when you were a child and your earliest memories of being here and how things were done and how they're done now.
Right. It's everything is so much different now than it was. And there were, we had our first tractor that had a cab on it was in 1980. Now almost all the tractors that we have cabs. I mean, that's the way they're built today, and so much bigger. I can remember we had our 4020, which we still have today. That I just used to think that why would anyone ever need anything bigger than a 4020? It's 100 horsepower, and now we rake hay with it. I mean, it's like that's what it's relegated to now. We rake hay, we move wagons and grind feed with it, and that sort of thing. And it used to be the biggest horse in the stable, and now we have 3 articulated 4-wheel drive tractors and 4 Magnum tractors that are twice the size of that 4020. And I guess the other thing is the precision with which we farm now versus back then. When I was a kid, when we were still picking corn with a 2-row picker, if we were getting 100 bushels of corn per acre, well, we figured we were just doing all right. That was kind of the mean back, in the 70s and 80s, and now, if Mother Nature cooperates at all and so forth, it's not uncommon to have 200 plus bushel corn, and we have a way to measure that on the go. The yield monitor that we have in the combine, I'd say, the greatest developments of all time, the backup camera and the yield monitor would be 1 and 2 for me. A yield monitor is so amazing, in the amount of data that it's taking in and spewing back out on the fly. It's incredible. And then auto steer is another thing. We've only got 2 tractors that have auto steer, but one of them is the one that I plant corn with. And I will tell you, it turns a 15-hour day into a 5 or 6 hour day as far as fatigue goes, when you're able to eat your lunch on the fly without having to be fighting with 6 different controls and the steering wheel and trying to unbelievable. You can, on a good long field, I can conduct quite a bit of business between when I gotta pick it up and turn around and then go, turn around and go another half mile. I can get a lot of stuff done on my phone while that's all happening, which is fantastic. It saves time. makes us more profitable. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, too. So.
You ever take naps while you're out there?
Well, you can't get that crazy. So, yeah, it's not like you're absent. You're still there, and you're still in tune to everything that's going on, because, you got to, and that's one thing that it actually does. It gives you more free time to watch the implement behind you, watch the plant, or watch what it's doing in the ground, and you can potentially see things that you might not see, because you have to focus a lot on steering, because planting is one thing that's pretty precise.
Right. So you have the auto steer on a planting tractor, and then
we have auto steer on my dad's articulated tractor that he likes to fit ground with, and that was just to make it easier for him. He's 85 years old, and that's still the one thing that he is able to do, that he enjoys doing, and putting auto steer in that just made it so that he can, last a little longer out there doing that.
One thing I think that was, maybe not a game changer, but I think was a welcome addition was the grain wagon. So that you don't have to, the grain cart.
My goodness, yeah. I mean, and that was my nephew Thomas. He had that's my brother's son who farms with us on our row crops and fixes the equipment and so forth. But the grain cart, he had been advocating for that for a couple years before we got one. I didn't know that much about a grain cart. I didn't really think it was that big of a deal, but that has been one incredibly useful. Like I've said before, I think it increases productivity 20 to 35% when you're able to unload as you're going across the field and not have to, chase down the truck at the end of the field or any of that sort of stuff. It's unbelievable. Yeah. That was one of the best investments we ever made, was that grain cart. Yeah. And we got lucky that it was big enough. We didn't even know what we wanted, and the one that we got was just right. Yep. Young people today, and I know that they're out there. I mean, we have one, Josh, who, he's just turned 15, and he came into the store back when we were still here at the farm store, and his grandma brought him in. He tells me he wants to farm. So I looked at him and I said, well, what do you like to do? Well, I don't know, but I like to be outdoors, and I like to do. I think this is something I want to do. So, we've made some things for him to do. I mean, he started out by helping us put up hay and so forth, but he's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and there's always room for that here. I mean, young kids that want to do that sort of stuff, they need to try to make it known. Try to just stop in at a farm and ask if there's anything that you could use help with, because there always is. Yeah.
So you would suggest if somebody wanted to get into farming and they're not necessarily from a farm or have the opportunity to, take over their family farm or whatever, to just get, and I think that's important too, because the average age of farmers keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we do need that next generation to be interested in farming, because we like to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, dairy farms, livestock farms, there's always work to do. Yeah. Always work to do on a livestock farm. I mean, I think kids would be surprised if they were to stop and ask that if that is truly something that they're interested in. I think that would be very well received. Yeah. I mean, that's every farmer's dream, is to pass a legacy.
Yeah.